Should I call her?
I'll call her. Yeah, actually,
Huh?
let me get by first.
This one right in the middle.
You lied.
Huh?
You lied. Everybody waiting. Do some house cleaning.
Good evening, She Shackers, and thank you so much for tuning in tonight to another amazing night here in the She Shack. I have been stirring up some conversation and reached out to a few family and friends and even some strangers. And I posed the question: have you ever felt like someone was in love with you or in love with your potential? And or have you ever been in love with someone that maybe it was their potential that you was more in love with than the actual individual? And I did some research about this, and I found it to be quite interesting that this was like a topic, like this was really a thing, that loving someone potential could ultimately be totally different than actually loving the individual. So before I actually jump into the topic, I am awaiting my special guest, who is my mom, who I actually reached out to do some discussion and to ask her, her wisdom and to get and seek some guidance. Um, as you know, I have been experiencing some large transitions in my life, and I have been very transparent about those things. So I am going to start with just some words of encouragement and inspiration before we actually get into the topic, because today is Thankful Tuesday, and on Thankful Tuesday, I I like to think about things that I'm thankful for. And so today, I just did some reflecting, and one of the things that I'm most thankful for is the removal of toxic relationships. Toxic relationships. And I'm not, this is not just like, is it a romantic relationship that you're talking about? Is this friendships or these kinships or these business relationships? I'm speaking of all of them. When I say I am so grateful for the removal of toxic relationships. And the reason why I say that is because I was not able to identify the toxicity of relationships when my journey and my walk wasn't as close as it should have been or connected to what God has planned and in store for me. When my lens started to get adjusted, and when I was able to start seeing things through a spiritual eye and less of a non-spiritual one, um, things started to change. And one of the things that I noticed that started to change was relationships. The relationships that I had with people, some of those I absolutely unequivocally adore and love with every fiber of my being. I started to notice the transition and the change in these relationships. And I think this is one of the reasons that started me to question, was it the potential of the person that I loved, or was it the actual person that I loved? How many of you have can honestly say that they've had relationships where, in hindsight, it was the potential of what the person was and not the actual person that you was in love with? Um, with that being said, I'm going to answer the question start off by answering the question for myself, and I would like for you guys to kind of like drop down in the chat. I again, I am expecting a guest, but we're not going to keep going on that. She's about 15 minutes away. So while she is traveling and getting to us, I wanted to just remind you guys, don't forget to follow me on YouTube, Conversations with the Queen from the She Shack. You can also find me on Instagram, Conversations with a Queen. You can find me on WhatsApp, Conversations with a Queen, also in LinkedIn called the She Shack. Thank you so much for just your continued support as I follow my dreams and I trust God in the process. And God continues to lead me, guide me, direct me, and empower me. So stay tuned. We will be bringing in the topic, have you been in love with someone's potential? Or have someone made you feel like they were in love with your potential? For me, I had to search my heart. And I was having a conversation with my mom, and she said, well, Yvette, I believe that you're guilty of that. And I was like, well, how could you say that? How could you say that I'm guilty of being in love with someone's potential? And I like to credit myself with just being a person that loves people, that I love to help people. I love to spread love. I love receiving love. So I'm like, I think maybe you might be a little off with saying that, I'm guilty of that. And so she pointed out to me at a time when I was dating my husband, and I think maybe we had a couple kids at this point, and she said, well, you don't remember saying, oh, I'm not leaving this man, he's going to be an engineer. And I said, well, yeah, I do remember saying that, Mom, but I don't think that was relatively meaning that I was in love with his potential. I knew that he had potential, but I had made a choice that rather he was an engineer or not an engineer, that I still was going to be with him. But the fact that I saw potential in him, and the fact that he was on that road, like he was on that journey, he was putting in the work to complete college, and actually to make life better. He had showed me that he wanted to be a father, and he wanted to be actively involved, and he wasn't like, what they call dipping and dodging and those type of things. So I don't know if I was really in love with his potential, but I absolutely know that he had potential, and that I wanted to be a part of that. But I do know of other people that's had, guys that make promises, oh, they gonna do this and they gonna do that, and they got all these, but they're not actually reflecting what they're saying that they're gonna do, or what their plans are, what they're gonna do, even if they're not in the position to actually be that person now. But if you see somebody actually putting in the work, working hard, striving, and pushing forward to that place of that they desire, I think that's something different. I think that it's a little deceptive when a person decides that, they're going to give you their representative. The representative shows up, they talk to you all this good stuff in your ear, they show you exactly what they want you to see, and boom, they got you. And then after they got you, then what? Then what? What happens? You started to really start to see the real them. But at this point, you already, you done fell for them, or the potential of what they could be. And that's not just for a female, that's for a man too. Because there's a lot of women out here that project to be people that they are not. They live lives that are not in line with who they say they are. I know of a situation of a person that I know that was a really good friend of mine, and that person was, totally fell in love with this girl. I'm talking about, she had all the bells and whistles. She was a church going girl. She didn't smoke. She didn't drink. She didn't have any kids. She had good credit. She was well on her way to being successful in the healthcare industry. And whole time though, the entire time, she pretended that it was him that she was interested in, but in fact, it was his own sister. She wanted a relationship with his sister because she was dealing with some identity issues of her own. And those identity issues were that she really was attracted to women. And she thought that getting close to him would bring her close to the sister, who in turn was not into women, who was, in a heterosexual relationship and married. But by the time it was, discovered, she could no longer hide, and he had a broken heart. Have you ever been deceived or someone may had you to think that they were well on their way somewhere, or not even it's not even about wealth. It's not even about riches. It's more about stability, because sometimes, we've been taught as women when we're, looking for a mate, don't look for what's in the hand. That long as they're doing the best that they can with what they have, you can build with that person together. That is something that we've, as women, I don't know about you guys, but I know for me as a woman, and something that my mother taught me, and something that I've also taught my sons as well as my daughters, don't look for wealth, because the monetary things is not what builds a person. It is actually the things that's intangible that build a person. What are we talking about? We're talking about fruits of the spirit. See, here we go, Bentley. Now, I need to teach you how to pick things up when you drop them. He's going to just knock my stuff down and keep going. He's in the She Shack every Tuesday night. Anytime I come in the She Shack, he's here. But just like a man, he would, right? Knock something down and keep on pushing. Knock my microphone down, knock my rug over, and keep going. So we're talking about things of the spirit. When I speak of things of those gifts of the spirit: humbleness, meekness, kindness, love, compassion, those things, those qualities, those intangible things that seems to often get looked over. I am an individual that's huge, big, gigantic on small things. I'm the person that if you bring a bouquet of flowers, I'm going to be paying attention to the bow, what color it is, or the little card that's stuck inside of there. Yeah, I look at the big picture, but I also don't want to be deceived by the big picture and look at the small things too. Sometimes the message or the roadmap to an individual is in the small things. They are not really in those things that, that's the glitz and the glam. That's the stuff to try to, get you to, distract you. So today I was doing my reading, and in my reading, look what Benny did. Knock over microphones, and then had the nerve to come back. So, I'm sorry, guys. So while I was doing my reading, my husband is kind of trying to stay out of the camera, on the floor, crawling on the floor, trying to fix my rug, trying to fix my microphone. So as I was doing my reading today, it was quite funny that this reading actually came up today. And if you guys remember, I shared this with you on Friday on Stay Motivated Friday. So we had a special live on Stay Motivated Friday, and I shared this book with you guys, and I find a lot of inspiration in here, some guidance to help me get my day started. And it's funny how most times it aligns with what's going on in my life. And it said today, it was be ready for whatever is ahead. So just the topic alone, just that title alone, just saying be ready for whatever is ahead. That's no matter what's going to happen, God is going to prepare me for it. I'm going to be ready for it. Whether this relationship works or not, whether this job hires me or not, whether I get this promotion or not, whether whatever the case may be, you'll be ready for it. And that's the same thing with, starting a new relationship. it could always be a little contentious, and it can always be a little, you can feel some uncertainties about it. But we have some tips, like, things to look out for. Like, for an example, I was reading this article by this journalist from Chicago, and she was talking about how we can often be falling for the potential of a person unknowingly. We think that we're falling for the entire person, but in fact, it's really more about the potential of who they could be. Example. They gave an example about a young man who was very talented. He was smart. He had been graduated top of his class and things of that nature. He had expressed many a times his interest in becoming a doctor, and so although he wasn't enrolled in school, he had the potential of becoming a doctor. And so she meets him in summer months, and she later discovers that, she is totally smitten by, his potential, his smile, his demeanor, his family history, all of these things. But then what actually was ended up being, yes, he had the potential to be a doctor, but he also was an alcoholic. So she found herself dealing with situations of this gentleman being an alcoholic, because she had now fallen in love with the potential of him being a doctor. So how far will you go when you're in love with someone's potential? Even when they're showing you that this is not where they headed. Like, is it a time frame for it? Drop that in the chat. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what is the time frame. Even if you're guilty of falling in love with their potential, how long do you hang in there? How long do you stick in there with a person that has potential for greatness, but they're not motivated for greatness? Drop it in the chat. Let me know. While y'all doing that, I'm going to pour me some sweet bitch, because y'all know I love this wine. And I don't know if there's anybody out there that works for this company, but if you do, y'all should be sending me some endorsements or something, honey, because I keep Sweet Bitch on deck every week. Every week she is in the She Shack. If it's sometimes it's just me and her, but she's always here. And these glasses, guys, I've been getting a lot of questions about where did I get them from. Home Goods. I found them at Home Goods not so long ago, right here in Dover, Delaware. So that's why I found these glasses at. So many people has texted me and asked me, Yvette, where did you find these glasses? Anybody that knows me knows I love sparkle, I love bling, I love color, I love love. And so I just wanted to just take a moment and do that. Now, getting back to our topic at hand, I had a young lady, shout out to Monifa Fussell, because Monifa stayed in my chat. She stayed in there. She stayed participating. She stayed supporting the She Shack. And I had put a box up there, and I was like, so, have you ever been in love with someone's potential? And she said, her response was, I absolutely am guilty of being in love with someone's potential. They have bamboozled and hoodwinked and all of those things. And so I guess I want to, in response to that, I'm saying, well, when did you realize that you was in love with their potential? When did you realize that they wasn't on nothing? That they wasn't really doing anything? That they were just bumping their gums and talking? And then once you make that realization, are you too far in to let it go? Or do you know how to walk away? What happens? What happens when we find ourselves in these situations where we are uncertain? Like, we're not even really sure, like, okay, you've been in it 6 months and don't look like you're really doing nothing. And then maybe they come to you and they give you a little something else to pull you along a little longer. Now 4, 5, 6 more months go by. Or what if you so blinded by the love that now y'all are at a point where you're on your way to the altar? Do you pull back? Do you keep going? What do you do? Because I know for me, I can't speak for everybody else. And I'm no relationship expert. Let me just put that out there. Not at all am I a relationship expert. But what I will say is this. There is no way on God's green earth that you going to keep selling me a pipe dream and I'm going to keep buying. I'm just not going to keep buying it. I'm sorry. Listen. It's only but so much you can sell. You're going to have to start producing fruit of this labor. Because if one person is doing in all the work and they put in all the effort and the other person over here is just like, wait. I'm going to start wondering and thinking like, are you lying or you telling the truth? Are you living a double life? You got another woman or do you got another man? Listen, you never know these days. You never know. So how do we filter through it? Some of the things that I like, I was reading Steve Harvey's book. And he had in there the 90-day rule. And I thought that was pretty damn, creative. In 90 days, he's saying, first of all, you don't give up no kitty box in 90 days. You ain't get no kitty box. 90 days, can't get none. He says, open the door for a lady. Don't let him press the remote control to the car. Let him walk to the door and open the door. Learn about the gentleman. Pay attention to him. Those kinds of things. And I think that goes both ways. I don't know if men are more inclined for a 90-day rule. That they are not going to be, listen, you're not getting, I don't know what guys call, their privates at this point. Us ladies, we got a million names for the kitty box. It's for JJ. It's all kinds of stuff. Cookie, whatever. We got all kinds of names for it. But date somebody. Get to know them. Get to know what they're about. Because sometimes, people be proclaiming to be things that they're not. It could be a man at home. It could be a woman at home. Pay attention if they don't never invite you over to their house. Pay attention if they don't never really speak about their job. Pay attention if you never see them in their car, but they say they have one. Pay attention to the small things. Pay attention to the way they speak. Do they speak independency? Do they speak like they're dependent? Pay attention to the language. Make sure that the language that they're speaking is your actual love language. Don't be so thirsty to actually want a person to be with that you mistake being smitten by a person for love or being in love. Because do we really know what it is to be in love? A lot of people don't know that August is National Romance Month. So since we was going to be talking about love, I decided to wear red. Because what more color, more appropriate to coincide with this subject. But those are the things that we should think about. But before we do any of that stuff, before we start I'm in love with their potential, or I'm in love with the person, or I think they're in love with my potential, or I think they're they're in love with me, you be in love with you. You learn what you like to hear. Not just because some of us got a little girl that lives inside of us. I'm a person that's guilty of that. Now, I have been able to identify on this journey that I had major daddy issues. Huge, major daddy issues. Major. And because I had those issues, it affected the relationships around me. Relationships with men, and relationships with women, and relationships with authority. So we have to know where we are. We have to do a self-work. We have to identify the things that we love, the things that we like, and the things that we don't like. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm not proclaiming to be that. But what I am saying that I am a person in love recovery. I'm learning to love me. I'm learning to put my needs first. I'm learning that I don't always have to be available. I had found often that I was a person that was chasing acceptance and love of other people. And if you find yourself in that, you're leaving yourself vulnerable for someone else to identify that vulnerability in you. It might be good to get a life coach. It may be good to, think about some therapy to address some of those deep-seated issues before you actually start looking for a mate. I think if we are able to identify most of what we want, we will be less inclined to attract people that is not what we want. I believe in the old saying that you attract what you are. You attract what you put out there. So if you're manifesting, goodness and kindness and you're projecting that through yourself, you're going to attract that. If you are attracting, if you are just putting out into the universe, those things more or less like, I'm not together, I'm broken, I'm sad, whatever the case may be, you're going to attract those kinds of people, broken people, sad people, people that's not together, people that's not goal oriented, people that's, not motivated. But when you start to change that, then guess what? Those are the kinds of things that you attract. I believe that. I was reading this book called The Secret. And in The Secret, they said that I'm going to give you what the secret is to success, to life, to living the life that you want, to having the mate that you want. And it basically is so simple. It is the laws of attraction. We attract what we are. We attract what we want. We attract what we put in the universe. So it would bring about a change if we started to take some accountability for what we have allowed people to do to us, and we blame them for it. Oh, they didn't love me. They loved my potential. Or they didn't love me. They love what I could do for them. Or they didn't love me. They love, the comfort of being here. Or whatever the case may be. But when we change the tune, because we have to make it, you have to take accountability, like we allowed it. We allowed them to, we knew that they didn't love us, but we kept going with it. So I guess that brings me back to loyalty has an expiration date, guys. I keep saying that loyalty has an expiration date. It has an expiration date. Some people say I prefer love over loyalty, or I prefer loyalty over love. I don't know which one you want. You want loyalty, you want love, or do you want them both? Well, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. She's Shack, because y'all have not seen her in quite a while, and this is her first time seeing the She Shack in the actual
I love that chandelier.
She Shack. So, listen, the matriarch, the mother of wisdom and kindness, recovering from COVID.
Yeah.
Recovering from COVID, has made her way to the She Shack. Y'all welcome my love, my mom, my bestie,
Okay.
my advisor.
Oh God, all that. I got a lot to live up to.
Yeah, come on in here.
I don't even know how to act.
Oh, what you mean you know that?
It's so beautiful. It's beautiful up in here.
Oh,
I
I'm glad
love
you
it.
like it. I'm glad you like
Oh,
it.
I love that fireplace. Oh, my
Right,
God.
it gets a little cold down here, so because all the air and everything, so
Oh,
try
okay.
to just keep you warm. So if you get a little chilly, boop, we press the button, get you going. I'm not being funny because I know you noticed there's only one glass here, but I think the last time you had this wine, it kind of messed with you a
Well,
little
I
bit.
went to the doctor today and I was all good.
Well, there's a glass right next to you, and you're more than welcome to have a glass.
Yeah, I'm all good. I went to the doctor today.
I had a lot of people asking me about these glasses.
Me too. They're
Like,
beautiful.
girl, where did you find these glasses at?
Mhm.
And so you know me. But I did unveil my secret. Welcome to the She Shack.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So I was just talking with Lashie Shackers, my viewers,
Okay.
who I love so much, about being in love with a person or being in love with a potential. Remember, we was having a conversation about
Yeah,
being
the
in love
one-
with
yeah.
being in love with a person or being in love with a potential. And I was right at the point when I was saying that even if it's a person or their potential, or even if the person is maybe potentially not loving you as much as they're loving or attracted to your potential, the most important piece of attracting anything is you. So it's what you are. You used to tell me, I'll never forget this. Stop hanging with them fast tail girls. What you doing, what they doing? Because birds of a feather
Flock together.
flock together. You always said that.
Yeah.
So if
that's
you
true.
ain't doing it, what you hanging around there for?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I used to say it all the time. I mean, I was raising a daughter, and I wanted her to be raised a certain way.
Yeah, so you ain't going out there. They hanging on the street corners. Do you know what be on the street corners, you say?
Yeah, I say, well, you don't live on the corner, so why are you hanging on the corner? And do you know what be on the corner?
Hoes and hookers is what you say.
Hoes, hookers, and pimps. That's what I said.
So that kind of like brings me to the statement of, if we are like really wanting to attract a mate, if it's somebody that you really wanted to attract, because you pointed out to me, and I had to think about it, where you was like, well, this man gonna be an engineer, honey, so yeah, this is gonna be it for me, right?
Yeah.
And so I addressed that, and I was like, I had to think about it. I'm like, but I wasn't really in love with his potential, though. I knew he had potential, but if he wasn't an engineer, I was still willing to be with him.
Yeah, I mean, at that particular point, when you were saying that your children, y'all were having kids together,
And what did I say?
that he was stuck like Chuck because you know you weren't gonna raise those kids by yourself.
I meant that. Now I don't know what that guy said. Now I did mean that. Now I did say that. I was not raising no kids by myself. I meant that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as far as potential.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can want potential for somebody. And, you know, after you and I had that conversation, I kind of thought about it too. And I was like, you know one thing? You know, she's kind of right. And the reason why I say that is because I had to relate it to my previous marriage.
Oh.
My ex-marriage, you know, my ex-husband and I.
Now, which husband we talking about?
Ronnie Babin.
Okay, we've been married twice here, so we talking about the last marriage.
Yeah, I said my recent.
Okay, your last marriage.
My last recent marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And when I initially met him, okay, he did have a lot of potential. Okay, but for me, it wasn't necessarily the potential.
But when you say he had a lot of potential, you mean like what, potential to be more than what he was?
Yeah.
So was it the potential that attracted you to him, or was it him that attracted you to him?
It was a little bit of both.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was. It was a little bit of both. It was him and the potential that he had at that particular time that attracted me to him.
Right.
And the reason why I say, let me say first, it was him. And the reason why I say him was because I ain't got myself in nothing, but I had a situation. And he stepped right on in and took care of it like it wasn't nothing to it, you know.
Did you feel like a damsel in distress being
Yeah,
rescued,
it was a damsel in distress. It was definitely a damsel, and I was definitely in distress. Okay, yeah, it was definitely that,
Okay.
and it made me kind of stand up and pay attention. Okay,
pay attention to his quality.
Yes,
Of the things that he can do.
yeah,
And that brought about a feeling of what? Admiration, love, safety, combinations.
I'm not going to necessarily say safety and love because I had just met him, because I had met him at a girlfriend of mine's marriage, Miss Eunice's niece, great niece.
So it was a wedding.
Yeah, it was
You
a
met him at a wedding.
Yes.
Was it immediate attraction?
No.
Oh, it was not.
Mm-mm.
It was not immediate attraction from you,
No.
but maybe from him.
Maybe from him.
But
because the reason why I said that is because of the conversation we was having at that particular time.
Uh-huh.
And I think the comment that I made at that particular time drew his interest. Okay?
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. It was quite interesting because he went through the couple that got married. He went through them to communicate to me.
So he definitely was interested. You definitely was like
I
not so interested.
I didn't even remember him at that particular moment.
So how you call this man and he come rescue you and now you a damsel in distress, baby?
Well, it was a car situation.
Your car done broke down.
Yeah.
Car done broke down, and what made you call this man?
I didn't call him. He was actually following me in my car. He was in his car, I was in my car.
Why was he following you?
Well, we was going to a destination. Not no hotel or anything like that.
Oh, listen, I ain't trying to get you business. I'm just trying to find out. Because like, we was talking about the 90-day rule, too. So
Oh, no. It wasn't none of that. It wasn't that because I definitely believed in the 90-day rule. The one thing
You still believe in the 90-day rule?
I definitely believe in the 90-day rule.
Right today, you believe in the 90-day rule.
Absolutely, because the thing of it is, you got to realize something about this, okay? And pressing a pillow with a man, all right?
I never heard that before.
See, when a woman open herself
What is it called? Pressing a pillow with a man.
Yeah, I mean, pressing. I'm trying to keep it clean, but you know what? I don't necessarily have to. I get down and dirty with it too. I mean, before you spread your legs and have sex with somebody, you really need to get to know them as an individual, because it may not be the person that you want to be with for the rest of your life, unless you're doing a booty call.
Well, I mean, I disagree, because just because they don't turn out to be the person you want to be for the rest of your life, don't necessarily mean y'all couldn't have whoopee.
No, it couldn't. But at that, you know what? For me, at that particular time, I was a lot more cautious. Number one, I had small children. Number two, it was a lot going on in the world and in the community where it relates to children and children getting molested and kidnapped and killed and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very, very particular about who I brought around my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing you have to realize is when I initially started dating Ronnie, he didn't even know I had kids. We was a few months in.
Oh, so that explains when he seen us, he wasn't quite sure what to do.
Yeah, we dated for about 3 months before I even...
So here we go with the 90-day rule. So in 90 days, we are not sleeping together. You're not meeting my children. Are we riding in the same car? Am I meeting you there?
See, my whole thing is, when I was in the dating world in my younger years.
Wait, so you're not in the dating world?
Oh yeah, I'm dating now too. I'm just trying to tell you about what's going on back then. So let me just
finish. Wait a minute. It's always some discoveries on this shit. Girl, you dating, girl.
I mean, and don't let get old but clothes, honey. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with me.
I know that right.
I mean, I looked in the mirror. Yeah, I looked in the mirror a couple times. I was shit. I mean, if anybody said that's good, I can too.
See, you got these stars on. It must be good, baby.
Leave me alone.
It's the street shit.
But anyway, at that particular time, see, along back then, HIV was fresh on the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And, venereal disease was on an all-time high.
Really? But in the 80s it was?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I was too young to know.
Yeah, you didn't know anything about that. Syphilis and all that good stuff, And my saying was, I was not going to get anything that's going to have me running to the border. Okay.
My other question was, because you was married before.
Right.
You had a previous marriage.
Right.
Did that influence your dating life?
No, not necessarily. It didn't influence it did. Because I knew I was not going to scratch the bottom of the bucket anymore. Okay.
So you felt that maybe the first marriage was about, less...
Well, the first marriage, see, it caught me in kind of a peculiar situation.
Okay.
And the reason why I say a peculiar situation is not that I wasn't attracted to him at that particular time, because I was.
Mm-hmm.
But at that particular time, I had just lost my mother. Okay.
So you're grieving.
And I still had young brothers and sisters that I had to try to take care of.
So you were raising your siblings. You had just lost your mother.
And he stepped up to the plate.
Meaning what? So now he's like another damsel in distress kind of thing, and you're being rescued?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I was being rescued at that particular time, because when I met him, I was kind of on the, I ain't gonna say kind of, I was on the wild side of my, situation. I was young. I was in my early 1920s.
Y'all, I'm telling y'all right now, you never know what's going to happen in the she shack. Now, here we was all over here on 365 Peace Women's Heart Marks and having some moments and doing some inspiration and encouraging and talk about some self-work, because that's when we talk about some self-work, and you coming like, listen, this is what it is. I had some kids. My mama done passed away. This man come, he step up, and next thing you know what? We married?
We married, and another reason why I was pregnant. Okay, you was young. You was what, 3-4 years old, maybe?
Oh, yeah. We got a baby and a baby.
Yeah,
his baby,
Marlon.
Oh, we talking about Marlon's daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, child. You was a little hot tamale, wasn't you? Now, I just need y'all to know this is discovery right now. She has never revealed any of this until tonight in the She Shack.
No, I mean, it wasn't no secret. It's just something that never really came up.
When you say wow, what that mean?
Well, I mean, look,
I'm just saying. You can tell me when to stop. You can tell me, all right, you're going too far.
No, I mean, it ain't no problem. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. Ain't nothing I've done in my life.
Your mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing I've done that I'm ashamed of. I was going out. I mean, I worked for Friday. Okay.
Oh, it was let the hair down, get loose.
Yeah, I mean, daylight used to catch me coming in the house a lot of times.
I ain't steal it. Here it is right now. I ain't steal it. Cause y'all know.
Hey,
now she want to play innocent. Now she want to play innocent.
Thank you.
You ain't looking at the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. I look at the camera more. So I've just been advised that I am not looking at the camera enough. So I guess I'm distracted because there's so many mirrors in here. So
So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, I used to live for Fridays. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, that's what we used to do. That's what we did. Mm-hmm. I mean, even when I was living in Chicago, and after I had you, me and my girlfriends, we had a pact. Mm-hmm. It was about 6 or 7 of us. Mm-hmm. And we just, we all had kids. So, we all took turns. Mm-hmm. When my night came, I was the babysitter. Then when their night came, they was the babysitter. And that's how we did it.
Okay.
So we used to live for Fridays. We had our outfit ready on Monday for Friday. Shit. It be hang up on the door.
So once you got into this point, now you meet a gentleman. Y'all get somewhere along the line, you were smitten because you got a baby.
Yeah.
And then y'all become what? Like, what led you to a point? Was it the 90-day rule? Did you wait 90 days?
Yeah, at that particular time, 90 days. Nah. 90 days didn't happen. That didn't happen. That
90 days.
That didn't happen.
90 days is now like later on down the line.
Yeah, like let me put it to you this way. I learned from my first marriage.
Okay.
All right. Mm-hmm. I really did. That marriage was a struggle within itself. It had a lot of dynamics. Mm-hmm. We put guns on one another. We was playing.
Whoa, what are we talking about? Marriage number 1?
Yeah.
Marriage number 2? Marriage number 1.
Yeah.
So marriage number 1 was toxic.
It was very toxic.
And so now you get out of marriage number 1.
Yeah, I got out of it. I really did. I plotted, I planned it, and when he knowed anything, I was gone.
So now we are back on the dating scene.
Actually, I really wasn't on the dating scene when I met Ronnie.
So let's get. I guess where I'm kind of trying to go with it, because now you had a contentious marriage.
Yeah.
And you needed to find a way out of it,
And I did.
And you did. And now you are a single parent, 2 small children.
No. Yes.
You have 2 small children.
Yes.
And you're a single parent, and now I'm focused on making life better for me and my children. Right? Okay, so how does romance fit into that? How do you find a level? I'm a single parent. You're probably at this time, if I can remember correctly, it was us. We was living with aunts, and then we got a place, and then we got another place, and you was looking for babysitters, and it was a lot of things going on. So when were you able to like find some balance? Like, not only am I aware of my surroundings or who I'm going to be dating or like what I'm looking for in a mate, but where are you finding the time to actually be a single parent and work and date?
I mean, I found the time. When you got to realize, when y'all was young, you know, in the summertime when y'all was out of school, I used to send you to my Aunt Val's for the summer.
So that's dating time.
Okay.
That's dating time.
Yeah.
Now okay, there's the village. There's the village. And
Yeah.
this is something we've talked about many a times on the She Shack, about having a village, having a support system.
And I had a support system. I put a support system in place. You know, me and my Aunt Val, we used to talk in depth quite a bit. All right. And I mean, she was my guiding light in a lot of things.
We're not gonna spend a lot of time right there because it's way too emotional, and I have to be
No,
honest,
I'm not
guys.
gonna get emotional.
No,
with it.
I mean for me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say it's a little emotional for me, and I'm gonna just tell you why. Quick history. Valina Marshall was the matriarch of our family. She was the epitome of beauty, love, compassion, all the fruits of the heart. However, some years ago, we, God called her home.
Yeah.
But before she did, we had a spectacular, special
celebration
relationship. We had my Aunt Val and I had a very very close-knit relationship over the times where, it's been with her, so much so that there was times that I had wanted to just live with my aunt. So anyway, it's her birthday is coming up, and it is also the anniversary of her death coming up. And I do, even though years has passed, I often feel the loss as it creeps along and get closer.
Yeah, I feel the loss. So
what I found was that I found solace in celebrating her. So every year on her birthday, I celebrate her. I release balloons, and each one of those balloons, I write something on it for what she means to me. And so I didn't want to really get emotional about it. So that's who Valina Marshall is, guys. She is literally everywhere in every piece of every person in this family. So we're getting back to the subject at hand, and I'm not minimizing it because I just wanted to kind of get some of the points out that I'm gonna start. You know what? I'm gonna put a gate here. I'm gonna block him for coming in this She Shack. Go ahead. He was right here. He was badged out, knocking the microphone over, turned over the rugs.
Anyway, I have to apologize. I know you can't get it all in 30 minutes, but let me just say this. I did put a support system in place. All right. My support system, after I had lost my mother, I attached myself onto older women. As a mother figure, I guess it's because that was the grieving process, and Valina just happened to, she was my world.
I understand.
Okay, so when she found out, what I was going through in the whole situation, the whole 9 yards, where she told me, well, in the summertime when the kids out of school, just bring the kids here, or bring them down here, so that way you have some free time. Because I didn't have any free time when y'all was in school during the school year. I didn't have any free time between.
Okay, so what did you do in your free time?
Well, at my free time, first of all, I took a deep breath. I had to exhale.
Did you date? Stop doing all this extra.
Of course I did.
Because you had to be doing something, letting you know you ain't got no kids and some. Okay, guys, let me just tell y'all this. My mama used to take my kids every summer. And let me tell you, it went down. Catmandu every Sunday night, reggae night, vaccines. What was the other place, Mo, that we used to go all the time? The one that was across the street from the other place. Then they used to have some stuff down on Spring Garden. Turned up, having a good time. That's what I'm trying to get out of you. And I'm trying to get out of you.
Of course I did. I went out, I partied.
How did you figure out what you wanted in a mate? And how?
Well, see, first of all, it was a few things that, I had to make sure that this is a person that I wanted to be over my children. Okay?
What was the big one? Okay.
All right. That's number one. Okay? Number two, I didn't want no broke man. Okay? So, you
what if he was broke now, but potentially not going to
be broke? I didn't go there. Ain't no sense me lying to you. No. You had to have a source of income because I'm not gonna get up every day and go to work.
Just because you got a source of income don't mean you're not broke.
Well, I didn't want no broke man. Yeah, but I know.
Well, was you broke?
No.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so you had to make it what I was making a double what I was making, in my opinion. Because at that time, a lot of people weren't talking about credit. I wasn't worried about no credit at that particular time.
What you was worried about?
I was worried about the fact that, I didn't want
cold hard cash.
I wanted that cold hard cash, and I didn't want no pervert over my kids. And I didn't want to have to go to jail, okay? Because I knew if you did something to one of my children, and my kids will tell, okay? They believe in telling mama, all right? If mama walked through that door and the conversation wasn't right, or I was going to jail and you was going to the graveyard. It was as simple as that. So I had to make sure that this is a person that I wanted in my life. And I had to pick through a lot of lemons, okay, before I got to Ronnie Babin.
Oh.
All right? And this is the thing. See,
so he fit the bill.
He fit the bill. And, he was a fantastic provider. He was an excellent... Because let me explain it to you. When I first met Ronnie, I thought he was gay. Okay? I'm sorry, but I did. And
I don't even know if I want to ask any more questions. I'll drink to that.
You can ask him. The next time you talk to your pops, ask him. I really did. When I first met him back in the day, I really thought he was gay. Okay, because I asked him. He walking through there, honey, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, wait a minute. Whoa. Let's pump the brakes.
Why did you think he was gay?
Girl, he be walking around there with his damn hands up like
I can't do this. I cannot do this with her today.
And he had a little switch to his walking shit. And I'm sitting on the sofa and I'm watching him as he walked back and forth. I mean, trust me, he was the perfect host. He was the perfect gentleman. Okay? He was. All the way. He was a perfect gentleman. He took me out to dinner. He wined and dined me the whole 9 yards. Okay?
You thought he was gay. You getting all these little wine and dine dinners and you think this man is gay.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, but it was like, it didn't hit me all at once. It was like over a period of time within those 90 days when we was like going back and forth. Y'all was still in the country in Val, right? So
you not even having no intimate relations because you thinking this man gay.
Yeah. So when I asked him, because I did ask him, you know me, ain't no question unlimited to me. So I asked him, I said, excuse me. And he walked down that hall and came back to there. I was like, you okay? And his response to me was, let me bring you back here in this bedroom and I'll show you whether I'm gay or not. Okay, that was his response to me. So, from that point on, and that was the end of the 90 days at that particular time.
90 days? Over with.
That was the end of that 90 days.
Screaming. I am screaming.
And at the time,
oh my God.
I mean, he had introduced me to his family member. And his Auntie Pig said, you know, that bitch is fine.
Now you. Oh God. Oh God.
You know, Auntie Pig used to keep it real. That's what I used to love about Auntie Pig. Auntie Pig kept
She
it
saw you
100.
and she said,
That bitch is fine. She said, Ryan, that bitch right there, that's fine. She's fine. She's fine. She's a good one. You found you something good this time. But anyway, you guys, maybe we could pick up this conversation at a later date.
listen, I wasn't ready. Let me just tell y'all that I was not ready for what came out of her mouth tonight. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to another night here in the She Shack Conversations with a Queen. We are on the move, and because of you guys and because of your continued support, we are making big strides. Y'all stay tuned for what's coming next. Conversations with the Queen, me, and the She Shack. Check us out on YouTube. You can subscribe, like, and share our channel. You can follow us on Instagram, Conversations with a Queen. We are now on LinkedIn. We are on TikTok. We are on Facebook. And we also have a WhatsApp. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I love y'all. For real. Good night. You too much, honey. I was not ready. This took a whole twist in the time. Well, he's over here talking about some self-evaluation and doing some whole other stuff. You done came here talking about, oh, I'm going to tell you, you want to know if I'm gay? Come on. Thank you. 90 days is over.